Hi, I'm the Moroccan Angel, and I'm here to help others set things right with their Maker. Hi, how are you today? This is Christian Education with Meeka. I'm Meeka, and I'm glad you could join me. I'm currently working on a study, and it consists of the examination of one's emotional intelligence and its direct relation to one's religious preference. I'm researching how a person's emotional intelligence and maturity impacts their God experience, if you will. It's quite fascinating, actually, when delving into various studies and research involving this. I've come to find that people with low emotional intelligence, they tend to gravitate towards specific religions. Now, I'm not going to disclose which religions carry the highest group of low emotional intelligence individuals, but when I do release the study, you'll be able to come to your own conclusions. Certain religions, in fact, inhibit emotional maturity and hinders emotional growth and self-awareness. These are crucial factors when getting to the heart of religious truths and uncovering a genuine interaction with God, because He sees things as they truly are, and He's not blinded by the emotional and psychological curtains that usually obscure our vision in terms of who we truly are as a person or an individual. And the important thing is to see it from His perspective. Now, interestingly, there's a particular Christian sect that teaches that God does not see your shortcomings. In other words, He doesn't see your sin or acts of rebellion against Him. They teach that He only sees the righteousness of Jesus. And this carries some serious theological and moral flaws. It actually denies God's justice and His omniscience. In the original Testament, it's clear that the God of Abraham is a God of justice, who sees all deeds. Now, if the God of Abraham were to, quote unquote, not see sin, He would be acting contrary to His very nature as all-seeing and just. Now, this would make Him partial and unjust, excusing sin based on affiliation rather than truth. And as we know, He is truth. If you'd like to see more about this particular topic, you can watch the video in the information section titled Standing in the Righteousness of Christ. So this mentality reflects the very heart of Christianity, its purpose and design. It's somewhat of a theological escape clause, metaphorically speaking, to excuse or justify the avoidance of responsibility for their own offenses against God. You see, I was told, and I want you to take a moment and really reflect on what I'm about to tell you. I was told that the number one reason people become or choose to profess to be a Christian is to escape the righteous judgment of God. Do you hear me? The heart of the Christian faith is the doctrine of substitutionary atonement, the belief that Jesus, an innocent man, was killed in place of the guilty to bear their sins. You. You're being told that an innocent man was brutally beaten and murdered because of your willful misdeeds of rebellion against God, the God of Abraham. And your response is, oh, okay, yes, I accept that. Wow, think about that. You're the type of person if you're professing to be a Christian, of course, you're the kind of person who would willingly allow someone else to suffer or be punished for your own wrongdoing. That reveals deep selfishness and corruption of heart. Tell me, what kind of person can be at peace knowing an innocent life was taken, worse still, taken because of them? Is this not considered to be among the highest of moral corruptions? Because it violates the very conscience God placed within humanity. We all know, we each instinctively know, that it is unjust and unfair for the innocent to suffer for the guilty. You know, this Christian teaching is presented as the pinnacle of divine love. But when measured against the laws of the God of Abraham, the God that Jesus worshiped and served, it's revealed within his laws as a profound injustice. The original testament is clear. The God of Abraham, Moses, Noah, Job, Elijah, he declared without question that the innocent are never to be slain for the crimes of the guilty. Let's take a look at one of the original Testament books, the book of Exodus, chapter 23, verse 7, where the God of Abraham declares, "Keep thee far from a false charge, have nothing to do with it. Do not kill the innocent or the righteous, for I will not acquit the guilty." Despite this declaration from God Himself, yet substitutionary atonement rests entirely on this very principle. An innocent one suffering so that the guilty may be declared righteous. In the Christian book of Romans, chapter 2, verse 15, it states that the conscience was given by God as a witness of His law. His laws testify that each individual must bear the responsibility for their own actions. So to embrace the idea of shifting blame onto another is to suppress or reject that God-given moral awareness. You're choosing selfishness over truth and justice. The law of God established individual accountability as the cornerstone of true justice. He said, "The soul who sins shall die. The Son shall not bear the guilt of the Father, nor the Father bear the guilt of the Son." Listen, he said, "The righteousness of the righteous shall be upon himself, and the wickedness of the wicked shall be upon himself." This is found in Ezekiel chapter 18, verse 20. God's laws abolish any idea of transferred guilt or righteousness. Each person must stand before God for their own actions. The notion that Jesus' righteousness or innocence could be imputed to another, or that one person's sin could be laid upon an innocent substitute, directly contradicts the law God Himself established to ensure impartiality and justice. Do you see it? The heart of the Christian faith, when examined against the immutable law of God, is exposed as a contradiction. Substitutionary atonement is built upon the very injustice that God forbade, punishing the innocent for the guilty. Far from being an act of divine love, it portrays the God of Abraham as violating His own laws of justice, something He explicitly declared He will never do. In the book of Isaiah, chapter 61, verse 8, He declares, "For I, the Lord, love justice." Do you hear it? Psalm chapter 10, verse 13. In what way does the wicked disrespect and contemn God? For the wicked says to himself, "God will never call me to account." You see, according to the ancient scriptures, the wicked dismiss God's justice as defined in His laws by convincing themselves that they will never be held personally accountable for their sins. This is precisely the spirit behind believing that one's guilt can be shifted onto an innocent man. Such a belief system allows people to soothe their conscience with the idea that God will never require it of them, even though His law is undeniably clear that each soul is responsible for its own sin. You see, the wickedness described in Psalm 10 and 13 is the presumption that God can be mocked, that His justice can be bypassed, and that accountability can be escaped. Substitutionary atonement functions as a theological escape clause because it grants people false comfort in the idea that God does not see their sin, but only the righteousness of another. The psalmist confronts this head on. He said God does require it, and no amount of human reasoning or doctrinal invention can overturn His law. You see, the very act of believing otherwise is evidence of the corruption of the heart, preferring an unjust exchange to the honest path of repentance and accountability. So I want you to see something very critical here. To even embrace the mindset that the innocent can be slain for the guilty is to rebel against the very law and order of God. The law and order that the God of Abraham established as the Creator. He said, "Do not slay the innocent and the righteous." He said, catch this, the God of Abraham said, I will not, I will not, I will not acquit the guilty. I will not justify the wicked. Those who rebel against my laws and established order, no matter how tightly someone clings to this unjust belief that Christianity presents, it cannot overturn the eternal justice of the Almighty One. His judgments are unshakable, and His word declares that none can deliver out of His hand, not even Jesus. In the book of Isaiah, he gives a statement of absolute divine authority and power, stating that no one, no man, can deliver out of His hand. Now, if you'd like to wrestle through this truth more deeply, or you have questions that press on your heart, I invite you to reach out to me personally. I welcome honest dialogue and thoughtful discussion. In closing, we must understand that God's judgments are never unfair. It is righteous. His judgments are right and true, which means they are always deserved. So consider your heart. Why would you seek to escape something that is rightfully due? Is it not more just to simply admit your wrongdoing, showing reverence to Him as the ruler over all the earth, and to willfully submit to His hand, rather than searching for a way to avoid divine justice? Do you not see that to seek escape instead of humble submission, it exposes your own embrace of injustice and unwillingness to honor His rightful authority? Do you not know? You must know that injustice is sin. I'm the Moroccan angel. Do what is right, always. It matters.